of class 12C. How are you all? Let's start this fourth chapter of poverty, and this is from our book Indian Economic Development. In this chapter, we will study about poverty that is very much found in India among various different groups of people. As we know that our India was the colony of British people, and they have drained a lot of wealth from India to their own Great Britain country, and due to this drain of wealth from India, our India got a big shock of poverty. Number of people in India are facing this problem of poverty, and the root cause of this poverty in India is because of these British people coming into India. So let's see what are the different type of poor people in India, and we are going to study this only in this chapter of poverty. So in the beginning, if you will see that for about 200 years when British rule was there in India, our India got poor, and I am going to read from the NCERT book page here. In previous chapters, we have studied the economic policies that India had taken in the last 6.5 decades. So many different policies were adopted by our Indian government. In the previous chapter, Indian economy 1950 to 1990, we have studied that what type of different policies were adopted by Indian government for the development, economic development of the country or social development of the country. But we know about that chapter, the policies which were adopted at that time, which were framed at that time, which were formulated at that time, were not very success. And this is why it is written last 6.5 decades. One decade is of 10 years. So near about 65 years back, if we see the policies of India, they were just aiming at to reduce poverty in India. Our India is continuously suffering from this big problem of poverty. The pattern of development that the successive 5-year plans envisaged laid emphasis on the upliftment of the poorest of the poor. So many of the 5-year plan in the country, India, they were aiming at reducing this poverty problem in India, and the main aim was just to uplift the poorest of the poor people. There are also different categories of poor people. We cannot say directly poor people, a poor person. There are also different categories of poor people in India, and to uplift the poorest of the poor, that is called as Antyodaya. Very acute poverty is faced by a particular family or the people in a particular region. Integrating the poor into mainstream and achieving a minimum standard of trying to maintain a minimum standard of living. This was our aim in India, that these Antyodaya, poorest of the poor, should get at least minimum basic needs. Okay, and if you see here, Jawaharlal Nehru, he himself said while addressing to the Constituent Assembly in 1947, when we got independence, he said that this achievement of independence, when we got independence from the British rule, our Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru said that maybe we have got independence from the British rule, but actual independence can only be achieved when we will get rid of this problem of poverty in India. If you will see here, out of the total world poor people, 1/5 of the poor people are there in India. Of the total world's poor, this is a great population that is found to be in India only. So it is written that, however, we need to know where we stand today. So we have to find out our position, that where are we standing today in the world economy, where about 300 million people are not able to even meet their basic needs. Their basic needs are not even covered. Their basic needs means basic amenities which everyone should get. These people even basic needs they cannot even achieve because of this poverty problem. So this population is also very big, living below the poverty line. So poverty has many phases which have been changing from place to place across time. So poverty is different from place to place according to the region, state, whether it is backward, it is developed, on the basis of this only. So this poverty is to be described in many ways, on the basis of time also. So how can this poverty be reduced? To reduce poverty, first of all, we must have a total data that how many poor are there, and on the basis above that, how many are the poor and how many are poorest of the poor. This also should be very much clear to the government. So therefore it is very important that first of all to identify the poor people. Who are the poor people actually? So to identify the poor people, let's see, if we compare the people who are poor in the urban and the rural areas, as our country is divided into urban poor and rural poor. So if you will see the rural poor people, who are these? In the rural poor people, if you will see, these are those type of people who are living in the kacha hutments, and these people are having very few assets, okay, which can be like that of a mud house, few assets, okay. And we can also see who are these poor people actually. Those who are push cart vendors, street cobblers, women who string flowers nearby the roadside, rag pickers, vendors, beggars, all these are the poor people. And these all poor people are coming in the urban areas. In the rural areas, if you will see, we will find the poor people who are landless laborers, because mostly the poor people in the rural areas are those who are not having their own land. The main occupation in the rural areas is of agriculture. The people who are not having their own land, they are called as landless, right? So these landless poor people are those who cannot continue with their agricultural activities, okay. And in this rural area, if you will see, there are people who are not having their own land, then we can see that they are working on somebody's other agricultural land, and because of this they get only very small wages they earn of those days only on which they are working. So these are all are very poor people, and these people are having mud house with kacha hutments. The ceiling is not there, it is made of thatched roof. All these type of problems are found in the rural areas, and the people are suffering from malnutrition. The small children are suffering from malnutrition. Reason is that they do not get nutritious food. So these are all the different type of problems. They fall sick very oftenly because they are suffering from various type of diseases which are found to be in the areas which are not hygienic, because city planning is not there, and these type of problems are to be faced by the poor people in the rural areas. So if we found here that how the urban poor people are increasing because of the migration of the poor people from village or the rural areas to the urban areas. They increase the population of urban poor people when they move to the urban areas, the rural poor people, in search of job, in search of work. According to the economists, how do they identify the poor people? According to the economists, they identify the poor on the basis of their occupation and their ownership of assets. These two are the main basis on which the economists use to identify the poor people. What is the little asset they are having, and what occupation they are doing. On the basis of this, so there are many of the poor people found to be in the urban as well as the rural areas. Let's see how are the poor people identified in the pre-independent India. In the pre-independent India, the efforts were made by Dadabhai Naoroji. Actually, there should be some type of line which should be called as a poverty line, which can divide the people into below poverty line and above poverty line. Therefore, how this line, poverty line, should be decided. For this, efforts were made in the pre-independent India by Dadabhai Naoroji. And according to him, what he did is, if we want to find out or if we want to identify the poor person, then the most important things needed by a person to live is food. And therefore, Dadabhai Naoroji, what he did is, he took the example of a prisoner. The prisoner in the prison is just to live by eating food. So how much consumption that prisoner is doing in a month, on the basis of that only, he tried to define the poverty line. So he called this type of identification of the poor people jail cost of living. Jail cost of living. How much food is to be taken by an adult person in a prison. So he did not take the total intake of food by this particular adult person in the prison, because in a society there are children also which are small. Some are bigger than the smaller one, and some are adult. To reach to the final jail cost of living, he did what? He divided the children into two parts. One who were not taking any food, means they were taking very small amount of food, which the small children. So he took these children by the ratio of 1 by 6, 1/6 of the children who used to take very small or little amount of food. So he took the amount of food for them as nil, 1/6. Apart from this, the other 1/6 of the total number of children were those children who were taking the diet half of the adult persons. Half of the adult person's diet. So these were 1/6 other children. And 2/3, near about, say for example, 35% of the children were there, and 65% of the adult people in the society. So when he added up all these ratios, he reached to the ratio of 3 by 4th. That means 3/4 of the adult diet of a prisoner was to be taken as the jail cost of living. Okay, so this was the ratio that Dadabhai Naoroji reached up to, which is called as, he used the menu for a prisoner and used appropriate prevailing price to arrive at what may be called jail cost of living. So 3/4 of the adult's diet of a prisoner was to be taken as the minimum food intake that should be counted in monetary terms, that is in money value. And then this was the minimum intake. This is the minimum amount of money that a person should have to just live. Okay, it was multiplied. That how much money is required by a person to live in a month. So this is how he reached to the concept of jail cost of living. But if you'll see that nowadays what type of mechanism we are using. So in 2011-12, if we see that what type of mechanism we used for identifying a poor person. So today we use MPCE, monthly per capita expenditure mechanism. This monthly per capita expenditure mechanism used to take the food intake by the rural poor, not saying rural poor, but we'll say person in a rural area, how much food intake is to be required by that person, and how much food intake is to be required by a person in the urban area. So according to our record, we found out that in the rural areas, a person needs 2400 calories each day. So the food intake which is required to give 2100 calories of energy, that amount per day was to be multiplied with the days of whole month. Then we reach up to the minimum amount of money that a person requires to be in a poverty line. Right? So this is the amount which is required by every person. Poverty line is that line in which a person, whoever is falling into this line, can get all the minimum basic needs. He can get, okay, things which is very much important for him to live, and therefore we have taken the mechanism of monthly per capita expenditure. So according to 2100 calories, the minimum amount of money needed by a person in 2009 to 10 was rupees 673 per person. And in the rural areas, a person who is working, he needs about 2100 calories a day. So 2100 calories a day means how much amount of money is required to get this energy from the food to get 2100 calorie of energy. It needs about 860 rupees per month by a particular person to live or to get all the minimum basic needs. So this person will come in the poverty line. So these are the two different minimum intake to be required by a person in rural area and to be required by a person in urban areas. Okay.